8, 9 years. Um, and I have a coaching program, and that's about it.
That's why we're doing the call. Coaching program. What is in your coaching program? What do you provide?
Sure. So it's an 8 week module, and I go over kind of the full spectrum. So I start with the mindset, and then the business formation, and all everything you need to do there, and then I go into pretty much I teach how to wholesale, fix and flip, and long term and short term rentals,
Yep.
and then they can transfer that knowledge into commercial if they want. But
very cool. So that's where's your market? Where have you been doing this?
Oh, I'm in Denver.
Denver, Colorado. No way.
Yeah.
How is the rental market out there? It's hot.
Oh, I mean, everything's hot here. Yeah. It's been crazy. So, I mean, the market's just exploded. I bought my current house, I think 3 years ago, and it's gone up almost double.
Wow. 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. What do you
50 grand into it, and then it'll be double. Yeah. It's insane.
That is nuts. What are you investing in out there? What still works in Denver? Or are you no longer working in Denver?
No, well, I am. I just been buying commercial stuff now. So I kept a couple rentals here, and I have a convention center up in the mountains.
Nice.
And then and then I'm buying another commercial building. And then other than that, I bought some apartment buildings elsewhere. I'm not really probably going to invest too much here. I'm going to buy another commercial building this year. And then, if opportunity arises, I buy it. But
right. That's wild. So a convention center, that's not your typical real estate investment. What drew you to a convention center?
Yeah. Well, my friend called me and he was like, I have this deal. It's been vacant for a while, but this brewery wanted to buy it, and it was under contract for about 8 months, and they couldn't find the funding, and there was a lot of work that needed to be done. And so I went in and we negotiated the terms for a few months, and we were all good. And then the last day they found the funding. And so I was a little disappointed because I put some time and effort into it, and I was getting really excited.
Yeah.
And then it was funny. My wife was like, "Well, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. They'll come back to you."
Right.
I'm like, well, that's not going to happen at all. and then exactly 1 year later, I got a call, and we were in Florida because we lived in Florida last year. We decided to just try something new and drove down there and lived down there.
Yeah.
And oh wait, hold on. Can you? I was just wondering. I didn't know is this call going to be just between us, or are we supposed to? Is this for like everyone else?
Well, we'll keep it between us. I'll record it. We're recording it anyway. And if at any point you say, "Hey, you know what? I don't want that out there," then I'll just not put it out there. I'll hold off on the Facebook Live thing. We'll put a little Facebook Live at the end so we can put it in.
How about this? Because I thought this was a meeting just between Mitch, you, and I.
Yeah.
So let me go put on a button-down shirt.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. Okay. Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm here.
All right.
Ron Bowling, you made it. As soon as you popped in, Trent said, "I'm out. There's no way I'm going to do this with a guy who has no light on his face." Where's your light, man?
Yeah, I saw that. He was like, "Oh no, Ron's here. I got to put on a button-down shirt."
Yeah. That's because the light wasn't on. He didn't realize how messed up your hair is. And how you haven't been to the barber in 3 months.
I gelled it to death. Yeah. Here's my light. I'm sure you're going to put all this on the video, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. Facebook Live, bro. It'll be live very soon.
Is this actually live?
Not yet. I haven't gone live yet. I like the blue light. That looks better. Yep. So, Ron, how do our properties look? Rents are in?
Not all of them. You know how
Not
it is.
all of them. What do you mean? It's already the 5th.
I know, right? It's only a pandemic.
Yeah, true. No, but it's the same offenders, people who are usually late, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anybody new on there? No names. No names.
Of course, no names. Well, it's only the 5th, right? We always have the normal ones that push it to like the 14th, right?
Yep.
But then we've got the ones that aren't paying, that haven't paid in a while. And then the ones that we were going to evict and were in the middle of evicting, and then the pandemic happened, and now they're just getting a free ride for, what, 2 months now.
Yeah. No worries. We don't mind. Karma. It will all come back. It will all come back.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to look like gods to the financial gods out there. They're going to say, you know what, thank you guys for hanging in there. And now here's lots of money. Here's boatloads.
There you go.
Ron, you ready? You ready? Trent Reynolds, you look fantastic. What a nice shirt, man.
I am back. Thank you. Thank you.
Phenomenal, brother. Great pivot. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna spice it up. Ron jumped in. He had his glasses all fancy like with his 3 buttons. You jumped in with way more buttons. So solid.
You surprised me there. I didn't realize what was going on here. So.
Hello, you saw the Facebook Live feature going on. You're like, oh fuck.
It's like, oh no.
Hold on, let me get that set back up. We'll go Facebook Live in a little bit. So, Trent, you were just talking about the convention center. How did you work this deal out? So you and your wife had already given up on it. What the spoilers? I know the end. I know you end up with it, but right now we're stuck where she's telling you, look, it's okay. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and you're just in your head like, no
way. Yeah, no, stuff doesn't just come back like that. But yeah, so the year later came by, and of course they wanted a little bit more. I was willing to do it because I was so excited about, I just love the feeling when you go into a big building and you can see opportunity. I've been a fix and flipper for about 7 years, and so I can walk into a shithole and see beauty. And I have a really good story about that. Actually, it made my brand new wife cry 2 days after we got home. Anyway, yeah, so we just negotiated, what was good for them, and they, wasn't able to do all the repairs that it needed. And so that's where I came in and just did a lease back and negotiated. It was really interesting. So what I did on this one was, since there were so many repairs needed, I did an escalating 10 cap. So whatever I put into the building, it would go up the next month.
Right.
So yeah, so it worked out really well. So I put like a new roof on, new boiler, got all the systems running completely, and it just kept going up. And
you got a tenant out of the previous buyer. You bought a building that is, a convention center is not an easy building to rent, right? There's a big system behind this, but you were able to actually acquire a tenant. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I did a lease back, and what was great about it too is they weren't utilizing all the space. So some of it was storage, and what it did was it allowed me a safety net to kind of be creative and figure out what I want to do with the space, because it's over 19,000 square foot, and it has a big ballroom and a stage and an auditorium and offices and different things. And so what I figured is, I put in the lease that we'll do profit share on events. So if we want to do events, then we can work it together. And then in the meantime, I can figure out what I want to do with the upstairs, which is the upstairs is still, is available. And they were just utilizing the downstairs only for that. So it worked out very well. Yeah.
And what was the tenant? Who was the other buyer that ended up transitioning to becoming a tenant of yours?
It was a brewery.
What was their business? It was a brewery, right? And are they still there?
A brewery restaurant. Yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, so they utilize it for, storing their grains and different things. So.
That is wild. I mean, that's a story of, having faith and really you went after an investment. This wasn't your typical type of investment. In the past, you're doing fix and flips. You're doing single family homes, fix and flips. Mm-hmm. And you shifted into, was this your first commercial purchase?
No, I was syndicating apartment buildings before that.
Really?
This was my first triple net.
Okay.
Yeah.
First triple net. And so syndicating apartments, how did you jump into that from being a fix and flip guy to syndicating apartments? So did you do small multis in between? What was that jump?
No. Well, really? I went to grad school for real estate and construction management, which was essentially just a lot of commercial and multifamily stuff. And so I understood commercial to begin with, but no, mainly I just, I understood how to underwrite. and what the investments look like and how to do it. And, you know, coming from fix and flips and the rehab and just the estimation and all that other stuff, it's a pretty easy transition. So I can talk about real estate all day long, about different facets. I do tax liens, I do lot splits, development. I'm developing some houses now too. And so it's, you know, it's easy to go out and talk to potential investors because I have so much conviction that I know what I'm doing and that I know how to buy right, that it just became an easy transition.
That is a hell of a story. How long have you been doing this again, you said?
Yeah, I started in 2011 with after grad school, actually. So after grad school, I went to University of Denver and did the master's in real estate and then the international MBA, and I focused on resort development. And back then it was, you know, resort development was not that great. And so I was interviewing with Pulte Homes and for like 4 months, and they got a new CFO, put all the jobs on hold. And I was like, well, you know, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I might as well just go ahead and jump out there right now. So I did it. And, you know, at first it is scary when you have never done a fix and flip or really purchased houses. I mean, I didn't even purchase my own house back then before I bought an investment. And every little crack in the foundation, I was so nervous and I would pass out. And back then the margins were just huge. You know, like every house was like $100,000 to $200,000 profit margin.
Right.
Net. And anyway, so I just kind of learned that along the way. Started splitting lots and doing that stuff, and it became easier and easier as with everything, you know, riding a bike.
Absolutely. What a fascinating story. I mean, and your wife was on board with this. You said, oh, by the way, congratulations. So you said your new wife, you surprised her. What was that surprise? What was it that you shocked her with?
Yeah. So we got married in Mexico. Nice. What was it? A little over 2 years ago. And when we came back, thank you. When we came back, she was starting to work with me at that time. She was running a lead gen department for multiple states for a public company, and it got bought out. And so it was like the perfect time to transition. I was like, let's go travel, let's have fun. And so anyway, I've been, you know, marketing and finding some houses, and I found one in the mountains, and we had to close a week when we got back from Mexico before it went to auction. And so we went up there, and we come up, and there's trash everywhere, typical house. And we walk in, and we start walking through the house, and there's soot everywhere because there was a wood stove in there, and I think he used it and never like really closed the door. And so all the drywall had to come off anyway. There's walls everywhere. It's super blocky house, you know, and you can't really, you know, I can see the vision. I'm like, we'll just wipe all the walls away, you know, piece of cake. That's simple. That's what you do. And yeah. And so we started walking through the house, and it looked like coffee beans on the ground everywhere. And we realized it was rat feces.
Yeah.
Everywhere, like inches.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was so nasty. And I mean, I've seen stuff like this before because I've done a lot of houses, but
right.
this was pretty gross. I mean, this is the most rat feces I've ever seen. And the toilets were black, and this guy was living in there, and he was a really nice guy. But when we walked into the kitchen, I actually fell up to my knee, and I was walking kind of fast, so like I almost hurt myself pretty good. But I fell right through the floor, and I was like, oh my gosh. And yeah, he was like, oh, that the shower's been leaking probably I was like, for how long? He was like, oh, months at least. I don't know.
A year?
Yeah. So anyway, I walked outside, and she was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be up here this whole summer working on this thing or, you know, managing it. And she was like, we're not doing it. And I was like, babe, this house is going to be amazing. It has another lot too. And it's a lot of good square footage. I was like, so I just walked up to him. I was like, I'll do this. And he was like, yeah. And we shook hands. I'm like, we did it. She wouldn't talk to me for about 7-8 hours, the whole ride home. And this was the weekend we got back. We got back on like Thursday, and we went up there on Saturday, and she wouldn't talk to me for like 7-8 hours. And I was oh no, good start to a marriage. Yeah. And anyway, now she's like, yeah, can we add that to the will for me? Yeah. I was like, yeah. She loves it, you know.
So it came out okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow.
We used huge log timbers in between the rooms for support.
Nice.
And it's all wide open. It has a 9-foot granite island, and yeah, she loves it now. So
Yep. And where's this located? You said this is in Maine. Where's it located?
No, this is in Colorado. It's like 20 minutes from Copper Mountain, from the ski resort.
I assume you go snowboarding.
We do, yeah. We both snowboard.
Very cool. Very cool. I trust the person who goes sideways on the mountain. If you're going straight, I just don't know.
I know. She's a little bit more of a bomber than I am. But yeah, we like to snowboard, and then all the toys, you know, dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, all that stuff. I grew up on a farm in Indiana, so I got to have the freedom of the countryside. So that's my little getaway.
No kidding. So how'd you go from Indiana to Colorado? And then you said you spent some time in Florida. Why did you go to Florida for a year, and then why did you leave?
Sure. Yeah. So I went to Indiana University, so I stayed close to home. I was from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and you know, at the time after I graduated, I just wanted to try something new. And my cousin lived in Denver, but I'd never really been there before. But I knew it had over 300 days of sunshine. It has the mountains, and it has a cool little city. So I actually just drove out here and moved here on a whim, just to try something new, and fell in love with it and ended up staying. And then Florida, I like to try something new all the time. That's why real estate's so awesome for me, because you can't get bored. You can create a whole new job for yourself anytime you want, or a career, whatever you want. I mean, and the whole point is not a job, right? But we decided—
You reinvented yourself a couple times already.
Right. Well, we just wanted to try something new, you know, keep it fresh. And so we decided we rented out our house, which we actually rent out our house periodically. We would Airbnb it for a week, and it would pay for our Mexico trip or something. We don't do that anymore, but if we want to go live somewhere for like half a year, we rent it to the insurance companies, because they actually pay us on time all the time, and the quality of tenant is incredible. I mean, we have nice art, we have nice furniture, we have, you know, stuff. And every time we run it to the insurance company, we've done it 3 different times, the tenants are always super grateful. They're great, and the insurance company pays, and it's great.
Wow.
You know, because their house is usually getting remodeled from— one was a fire, one was a flood, you know, different things like that.
Right. So, they're very respectful. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a niche I never considered.
Yeah, no, it's great, because I mean, you're guaranteed, you know.
Right.
And if something goes wrong, it's the insurance company that pays you anyway. So.
It's the insurance company. I love that. Yeah. Very cool. So how'd you end up in Florida? Where in Florida were you?
Yeah, so my dad lives in Fort Myers, and so we decided in October, a year ago from last October, we decided to just drive down there. We ran out the house, we packed the car, actually both cars. We shipped one and we packed the other, and we decided to go down there, and we stayed at an Airbnb for a week and a half, and we found a house. And we put in an offer on the water with a boat lift and a ski lift and a pool. And we've never lived near water. She's from Utah. And so we put under contract, and then we bought— if you're a Florida resident, you get half off of Disney World, right? So we got a year pass of Disney World, which we ended up spending a month and a half in Disney World. But it's last year. Yeah, it's crazy. But so we went to Disney World for a week, and one of our timeshares, which has no annual fee, and we actually just get paid every year for going. It's a crazy little good deal. We got like a free week, so we stayed in Disney World for a week, and then we went to Utah for Christmas, and then when we got back on the 28th, we flew in on the 28th, closed on the 28th, and moved in on the 28th, and we sold 3 fix and flip homes in Colorado on the 28th. So 4 transactions on the 28th. And it was an insane day. So we just moved in, and it was already fully furnished with modern furniture, because it was a vacation rental from a guy that owned it in Russia.
Perfect. That's cool.
Yeah. And we bought it under market value. So it had about 50,000 instant equity, and it was a perfect condition. We didn't have to do anything to it, and we had all the furniture. So we just had our car full of clothes.
Wow. That is wild. And you hung out for a year. You still had your place rented in Colorado. What made you jump back? What made you say, you know what, we're done with Florida, we're out, going back to Colorado?
Well, so we went down there, and so one of my things was I can do this anywhere. I know what I'm doing and I can do it anywhere. Well, when we got down there, it was interesting because the houses in the market was so interesting. One would sell in a day, one would sell in 8 months, and it'd be like the same house, and one
Right.
person just like the purple wall. And I was like, this is a little bit weird. Anyway, we both got our Florida license down there, and I was starting to look at commercial stuff with a commercial broker. And I ended up I network wherever, right? The whole game of real estate is networking. And so I met a couple developers and partnered with them. So we're developing some luxury homes in Naples. And
Nice.
yeah, so that's really fun. But we ended up coming back for the summer to Denver, and we stayed in our house and rented it out again for the fall. And we rent out our house in Florida in the summer, and which is a little harder to do because most people want to come during, December to April.
Right.
But we kind of miss our friends. We kind of, it's a different demographic in Fort Myers. It's a little slower paced. It's more like if you're retired and want to go just kind of chill out. And we like that for a while, but we're also a little bit more of the hustle bustle, kind of thing.
Right.
So we're like, well, let's go ahead and sell the house. We sold it for a profit. And we took all the TVs and furniture and stuff that we wanted. And and so it worked out. Too bad we couldn't take the pool table though. It was too heavy and we just gave it away. But
no.
Anyway, it was, yeah. Well, we figured, we really liked the house, but if we were to buy again, which we will buy again there, it'll be probably like in Naples or something, a little bit different area.
Right. And what is it? Where were you before?
That was Fort Myers area.
That was Fort Myers, and now you're looking at Naples. Why Naples over Fort Myers? What are the values there?
Well, actually, so this was Cape Coral, right? So Cape Coral doesn't have as many HOAs, like no HOAs. So that was one reason why that drew us to Cape Coral, is because you can rent it out, have no problem.
Right.
And a lot of them are, rentals, and you can live on the water, like a canal, and have boat lifts and stuff, and it's pretty affordable.
Right.
Yeah. So, but then, Naples, I think, just has a little bit more going on, and we're already doing developments down there. So if we continue to work with the developers, it'd just be easier.
Right.
And I think it's a little bit more sheltered of a market compared to Cape Coral.
Right.
But if anyone's looking to be on a canal and like boating and want a killer deal, you could probably get a pretty good deal in Cape Coral.
Excellent.
So
yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to review it. You said you're going back to Florida eventually. You're just looking, maybe when you're ready to settle down, ready to slow down a little bit, you like Denver, you're going to be there for a while.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, Denver's like our base place. Yeah. But I mean, I could see like in a couple of years having a house in Florida and a house in Texas. Her parents live in Texas, and and maybe getting a house in Indiana, or I don't know. But wherever our family is, it's nice to have. I typically, for me, I only like to have Airbnbs or vacation rentals where I want to go spend a few months of the year.
Yep.
Because it's a little bit higher risk, but it's also a nice return that you can make your mortgage payment, maybe make some money, and then you also get to stay there for free.
You get some flexibility involved. Yep.
Flexibility, exactly. So that's kind of the deal. I mean, we were just in Texas last 2 weeks. We got back on Sunday, and cool. Visiting her family, and it was amazing playing Frisbee golf every day and being in the pool, and it's warm, and never really been to Texas. So that was a different environment there, a whole different mentality than Denver. Denver's super locked down, and Texas just opened up.
Like, just don't cough on each other, guys.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I love that. So Trent, you got a really cool history, a real cool background. You've done a lot of stuff. What is the easiest way for somebody to contact you? Say they want to jump in with you for coaching or some sort of mentorship or training. Again, I know your product program. We talked about it before I went live. What is your product again, and what is the easiest way to get in touch with you on?
Yeah, sure. So you can contact me at trentareynolds.com. And if you want to go to my site, it's trentareynolds.com. And the program, pretty much, I teach anyone that's interested. Some of my students have been in real estate for 12 years. Actually, someone I worked with in 2007 doing commercial lending.
Yeah.
And I pretty much just teach the full spectrum, but it's infinite ROI. So I teach, how you can do deals in every economic cycle, getting deals with equity, and then how to evaluate them so that you can see opportunity, whether you want to wholesale with and have no money, or do creative financing, keep it as long-term rental, or even a fix and flip. But then also how to make sure if it's a good long-term rental or short-term rental, what are those risks and what are those rewards? So
Right.
whether you want to wholesale, fix and flip, or do a rental, I teach the full spectrum and how to set up your business correctly so that you understand the tax savings as well. Because when you make money, you want to save money. So
Absolutely.
that's what I teach. And yeah, I'm really excited to get people going on it and help further their dreams. So
Excellent. I love that. Mitch Durfee, come back, my friend. We want to pick your ear on this one. So I've been working with Mitch lately. We're building something for, it's a front end funnel, bringing new investors into coaching, like teaching them just a little bit. So I offer a mentorship program, but then after this 8 weeks is over, they have to jump into something a little more detailed, right? So it sounds like you're more on the structure, how to actually structure your company. You know, when they come to me, they're looking for the long-term vision. Hey, this is where you want to go. Okay, I'm going to help you set some goals, give you some ideas, but then I've got to plug you into the next set. And for Mitch, I'm really relying on him heavily when he's getting somebody into wholesaling, because he goes really deep in the niche. This is specifically what program you should use, how to negotiate, what all these details are. It sounds like you're more of the structure guy. You've got that, hey, this is how you're going to look at your business for a long period, and we're going to set you up this way. So I'll set them up on a path, and then you would be that next gen, especially if they're looking to really build a company, right? Really go somewhere in life and not just, make mistakes or pay more to the tax man or get sued, or, you want to make sure that you're setting your company up right. That's really where you stand in all of this. That's safe to say?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I've made mistakes, and I want to prevent other people from making those mistakes and try to help them along the way. But also, if you have a certain amount of money or you raise money, I like to teach how to create the generational wealth and keep no money in the deal and have 100% ownership.
I love that.
And so, yeah, that's exactly right.
So so me and Ron, this is my business partner, Ron. Ron, this is Trent Reynolds. Trent Reynolds, this is Ron Bowling.
There.
Even though his name says Walter Morello right now.
Yeah, it's because you're still logged into the Zoom account from when you were here yesterday.
Hilarious. So Trent, me and Ron had this conversation a while back. We said, look, we've accumulated cash now, right? We've done enough deals where the cash is now sitting there, and we don't actually want to use our cash anymore. We're pretty much done with it. The last 2 deals we did, it was we just raised the private money and used gap lending with the hard money to go through the deal, and it felt really good. Like, it just felt good knowing that there's a ton of cash sitting in the background. Yeah. And we can continue to do these deals without using our own cash anymore. And even though we're doing a refinance, and that refinance will sit a lot of money back with us, we're putting it in other avenues, lending it out, like different ways of getting that return. And you're right. It's smarter to use other people's money once you've established a really solid base for yourself, because you have more options. Mitch, you're back, my friend. I was just telling Trent, this whole coaching program, we're bouncing people around, man. Like, hey, they worked well in my program. Excellent. I got them started. Now they're going to Trent's program. Now they're going to Mitch's program, depending on where we're all going. So Mitch is here in spirit. Apparently he's on an Amex call. So he's going to stay on that call and go make his money. But Mitch is the author of the book, Serve to Win. Good friend of mine, good friend of Trent's. He's the reason that we were able to connect. So Trent, I definitely am looking forward to be able to send you some business. Maybe in the future, have you jump on some of our coaching calls, where essentially what we do is we bring them through on Saturday morning at 10. And every Saturday morning at 10, we teach one of the 52 weeks, the 52 wealth principles to being successful. Some of those would be, think $1 million, go and buy $1 million. What does, make sure your business is $1 million business, law of reciprocity. There's so many different laws in success. And so we have the coaches come in, and then as I'm teaching, we call on a coach. Hey, Trent, what is your experience with this? Or Mitch, what is your experience with this? And it gives more value to everybody. We sell a mentorship program. Once the mentorship program, somebody's in it, now we're committed to that investor building their business. And so they go into this extra once a week meeting where it's just a mentorship program. And that's where the coaches, they're going to get a one-on-one with you, and they sit down with you and say, hey, you know what, are you right for my business right now? Should I be taking your coaching program right now? As they're going through the process. So we're coaching them. They're going through everything. They're doing their steps. But then they also have the next level, right? Because mine ends at 8 weeks. And if at 8 weeks if you're not connected with your next coach, productivity tends to drop off, and the steps aren't taken. So it's a way to get everybody actually to success, because there's no one coach who's right for everybody. Right. You have to have your mix. You have to get, the structured guys, the wholesale guys, the flip guys. And I love that you fill a gap in the company right now. So if you're interested, we'd like to have you on board with us.
Sure. Yeah, no, that sounds really fun.
Excellent. Saturday at 10, I will send you the Zoom link. And if you can be there a little earlier, we have the coaches show up just a little bit earlier, and it's special for the mentorship program. We have them show up at 9:40, and we all just hang out for a little bit, get to ask questions to the coaches, and it's like a special little feature being part of the mentorship. So great. I would definitely love to have you in it with us. You're definitely a champion, man. You're doing all the stuff that everybody wants to do. I mean, the convention center, like that's the sort of deal that kids dream of, like every one of us is like, dude, one day I want to own one of those.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely interesting, but yeah, it would be a pleasure. And are we talking your Eastern time, correct?
Eastern time. So you're Denver, 2-hour difference?
Yes. Yep.
So 2-hour difference. So 8 a.m. I don't know what time you wake up in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Absolutely.
Perfect. Excellent. Trent Reynolds. So Trent at TrentAReynolds.com. If you're looking for an email, if you want to contact him, find more about his coaching program, learn more about how to structure your business, and just have some great conversations with somebody who's really done it before. Or go to TrentAReynolds.com and find out what he's got to sell. Mitch, you got a few seconds before we sign off?
And hey, what's up, guys?
Another day in paradise.
Dude, I'm so sorry about that, man. I don't want to steal the show or anything, but I was on hold with Amex for like an hour, and then they finally picked up and then hung up, and then I finally got a hold of him, and he's like, "Oh, could you just not use your card for like the next 1 to 2 weeks?" I'm like, that's not really. Like, can you just not do business for the next 2 weeks because Amex can't process orders?
All my marketing goes on my cards, so no, we need that.
Yeah, my God. Anyways, so yeah, I wish I could have been here. I know Trent for a while here. He's always dropping amazing content, super great guy. So I know I missed a lot, but I'll definitely watch the recording. Thanks for always doing that.
Absolutely. And so we actually put it in Facebook Live. It's out there. The original part of the recording doesn't have Trent in a button-up t-shirt, button-up shirt. So we actually only Facebook Live on the best quality product today. So nice. That's actually what I'm going to put out on the YouTube channel and everything. So it'll be really cool. Mitch, I also went live in Real Estate Property Warriors. So we're pushing the group, expanding it out, giving more value to your guys.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, nice. Thanks so much for that tip there on the infographics. I shared that with Trent recently. I'm really excited to start kind of getting that information out there for a lot of people, because even though we're both in the same industry and we're using that value, or that content, it's amazing how you and I could both share the same message, but it could take that concentration effort to actually get people to realize hey, wait, that is something I need to see.
Yeah.
Because I know for myself, people told me that there was money out there to get started investing in real estate. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is. Yes. And it took me a long time to really figure out that there really is money out there that I could use. So you just have to see it consistently. That's why I always love how committed you are to making these videos and the groups and the trainings and stuff like that. You guys are always just putting that value out there, because people have to hear it more than once.
It's one of those things. You're right. We're all using the same graphic design artist. He's putting out the same content, and it's the principles of real estate. What are you supposed to do? Recreate the principles of real estate? If you're not putting it out to your audience, even if there's a slight overlap in audience, it's all the other people that it's for. And for the people who saw the slight overlap, it's like, well, you saw it again, use it, right? But maybe they'll put it into place this time. And we put out the content, man, because, just being able to hang out with you, Mitch, or hang out with Trent, we're learning so much. And I know if I'm learning, my audience is learning. And the text messages, the Facebook messages, all the chats they're sending us saying, man, that guy was so powerful. Like, thank you so much for interviewing him. And I know we're gonna see that again today from this interview. And Mitch, every time you join us in our group calls, our wholesalers are telling us, like, dude, like, he's on fire. Like, thank God. Like,
thanks, man. I get most of that stuff from Trent. Trent's the behind the scenes brain.
That's the part where a lot of the guys who have been doing a couple of deals really need that right now. They really need to know, like, all right, it's time for me to take this serious. I like it. It's just like your move to Florida to Colorado. You're just testing things out. Well, now it's time to get serious about the business and structure it properly and think long term. We could do this for a long time. It does work.
Trent, did you talk to Walter about your event space?
Yeah. So, we talked a little bit about the convention center, how we got into that deal. He's actually, it sounds like you've got a whole section you don't even utilize right now, or is underutilized.
Well, let's go, man. Let's lock this Corona thing up and let's do something.
The plan is to start having events with real estate investing and different coaches and stuff later this fall. So I'm getting the place ready and it's going to be good to go. And there's different places that I have up there for people to stay, and we can have a lot of fun. So whether we go dirt biking and going on the lake or doing all that, it's surrounded by recreation.
Build some tiny villages, some tiny homes.
And then we'll go in there, we'll play on the stage and learn a lot of good stuff. So
I love this. We can create it's like a retreat, it's a resort around real estate. You've got the compound already, right? You've got all the extra fun activities, and we can actually bring in, a couple times a year, bring in the real estate community from all over the country. As Mitch knows, I'm touring all the national RIA. So I'm in the national RIA and we're setting up the tour for next year. And we're jumping into the Zoom calls now, building those relationships so that we can offer a product like this. Like, this is, we just found out about this product, but this is exactly what real estate investors could use, like a boot camp where it's, you're a week building new friends, building new relationships, and getting training. There's training every single day. The speakers are coming up and from all over the country again, maybe hanging out with us and training at the same time. So this is a powerful opportunity, guys. I love that you guys brought me into this. This is the sort of thing I love to sell, right? I'm a salesperson at the end of the day. I sell education. I sell empowerment, and you guys have a product that I'm definitely down with. So I love that.
That's cool, man.
Perfect.
Thank you, Mitch. Hey, you know what? You came in at the end, but you saved the deal. So
wasn't it?
you sweetened the deal just now. Me and Trent were already going to do business. We're already pulling him in. He's in the Saturday trainings with us, but now we sweeten the pot. Now everybody wins on a whole other level. So awesome job. Thank you so much, Mitch, for making this connection. I appreciate it.
You guys rock, man.
And Trent, thank you so much for all the value you gave earlier. Your story is so powerful. Definitely appreciate it. And I know my audience is going to want to reach out to you at some point. So take care of them. I know you will. Thank you so much. Each and every one of you guys, cheers to your success.
Thank you.
You have a choice. Always work
with the best.
That's right. Later, guys.